So, look, every interview we do, we always start with a simple question: is if you could sum your wrestling career up in one word, how would you describe it?
Oh man, a surgeon's wet dream.
That's a new one.
Yeah, probably. Like, I've had more surgeries than anyone, so probably they've had the US healthcare and the insurance companies have had some brass out of me. So yeah.
What breeds it? I mean, that's a new one.
Surgeon's wet dream.
It's been surgeon's wet dream. I mean, it's just one of those things. I've been pretty injury prone, mate. So yeah, helter skelter, up and down, mate.
Yeah, do you know what? That's really stumped me because I never expected that type of answer. What brings you second away? Because I'm literally stumped here.
That's stumped me as well. But so you've been a rugby player, professional wrestler. How was your transition from being a rugby player to professional wrestling? What was that like?
To be honest, I'd always wanted to be a professional wrestler, and I started watching wrestling a couple of years before I started being interested in rugby. My dad played rugby, and obviously I got kind of guided down that route, and I ended up trying to pursue wrestling while I played rugby. I got in touch with Hammerlocks in Kent, a school in Kent, and I told the wrong guys in rugby, and the rugby lads were like, obviously got on my back, so that kind of went by the wayside. But then what happened was I was on honeymoon in Cancun, and I got sacked by the club that I was playing for at the time. And then just happened so that night, like 3 hours later, I saw a tweet from William Regal, putting over the coaching services of the man that coached him, Marty Jones, who obviously we know, world of sport. And so I emailed him. He emailed me straight back. 2 days later, I flew home from Cancun, and that's when I started wrestling. I went to my first wrestling practice. Fast forward 6 months to WWE tryout. So that's how it came about. And I think rugby obviously with the rough and tumble just really helped me, kind of take the bumps and the things that we do in the ring from the physical side of things. Just helped me take it in my stride, really.
Okay. So you mentioned obviously Marty there. I mean, what's some of the biggest things he taught you?
Oh, I think the respect thing with Marty was massive. That was always massive, and just having good foundations, having no holes in your game, like just the basics. If you don't have any foundations, you can't. It's like a house, mate. If you don't build a house on good foundations, you got no point putting the roof on. You know what I mean? It's just going to crumble. So it was always making sure that your stuff looked good and that you sold, and that your basics were tight. Yeah. So psychology was massive with Marty, making everything mean something.
Yeah. So when you first got to WWE, who was the one that took you under your wing and helped you the most?
Well, I've had, to be honest, I've had so many people that have been a big influence on me and a big help. But I mean, to name a few, obviously, William Regal is one. Johnny Moss, who's a good friend of mine and been a big help. Robbie Brookside, Norman Smiley, Teddy Taylor. And then you look at the wrestlers, guys like Pete Dunne, help me out. He's 6 years my junior. He'd been doing this a lot longer than I had, so he was almost like a little bit of a mentor and someone that I would go to for advice. I'm probably missing a few people out, but off the top of my head, they're the people that stand out for sure.
Awesome.
Absolutely. So before obviously you got to WWE, you obviously did some stuff in the UK. And I'm just looking at your cage match, and one promotion which has caught my eye, which I do know a lot about, is 3 Count Wrestling. Do you remember of that?
Yeah, so it's funny. 3 Count Wrestling, actually, I think I only had my 4th match for them, and it was actually Ollie Brown Rampage that gave me the in there. He spoke to the promoter and brought me, and I ended up wrestling, doing a little bit of a program with Rampage, and then wrestling in a fatal 4-way for the championship. So yeah, it was good fun. And again, Ollie Rampage was another guy that influenced me quite a lot and helped me out. So yeah, he paved the way there for me, and yeah, it was good fun.
So obviously, being in WWE, you've been obviously the black and gold brand, the black and gold brand. Then you've also was a part of NXT 2.0 a little bit. Then you've pretty much been through every stage of NXT. What was that like? Like, obviously the black and gold brand is very special to a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean the initial iteration of NXT, like you said, the black and gold brand. It's that was exciting because you had all these kind of well-traveled, successful independent wrestlers all under one roof, really competitive, but also like helping the next crop, come through. And that's where like I was in the that's probably what I look back on my time most fondly, because I was in the ring 5-6 days a week. I was training, I was doing the coconut shows around Florida, just trying to get on the level of like your Adam Cole's, your Tommaso Ciampas, your Roderick Strongs, Kyle O'Reilly's, guys like that. And then obviously I was in line for quite a sizable push before I got hurt. That initial time, going into the War Games match with me on Team Pat McAfee and then working against Undisputed Era. So that would have been like a big kind of like coming out party for me, but unfortunately it didn't happen. But that time in NXT, yeah, it was great because everyone was coming together for for one common goal, and that was to make the show the best it could have been.
Absolutely. So, what was it like being called, obviously, to the main roster? Because also on NXT, that's the goal for a lot of people.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I didn't really know I was getting called up, but initially I thought I was going to get canned because I'd come back from my injury, and then I'd heard, oh, we're going to start where we left off type thing. So I thought, okay, well, at least I've not lost any ground. But then we started doing doing a couple of jobs for people and stuff, and I was like, oh, this is a bit weird. Then I got told that my name had been mentioned in the hierarchy of the company. And I thought, well, that's either I'm getting called up or I'm getting canned. And it was around the time of the draft. So I was sat at home eating my meal, my tea or my dinner. And he said now that the next draft pick for SmackDown is Ridge Holland. And so I nearly spat my dinner out. That's how I found out that I was officially called up. And that was kind of like a blessing and a curse in a way, because I'd not really developed the character enough on NXT TV to give the main roster writers a reference to book from. So I kind of went in there and it was just like, oh, we've got this kid from England. He's got a funny accent. We can't understand him, so we'll stick him with Sheamus. So it was, it was one of them things. It was an opportunity and I'm grateful for it, but I just wish I'd done things a bit differently. Obviously, every talent says that.
And I mean, working with Sheamus, you didn't just work with Sheamus, you worked with Pete Dunne, who was known Butch at the time, which that's another story for another day. But like, you did War Games with the Bloodline, which in that 4-year span, you was a part of one of the biggest storylines going. What was that like working with the Bloodline, Roman Reigns, War Games, just that entire Survivor Series?
Yeah, it was great, the lead up to it and stuff. And although me and Butch kind of played a really small part, it was more like your Kevin Owens and your Sheamus and your Drews that were taking the forefront of that against Roman and all those boys. Me and Pete spent a lot of time like leading up to that, making Solo look like a monster. As you're like this kid sparring Pete over. But just to play that in that match was, it was great. The game's not on the main roster. We're a bit more integral part of the match, yeah. But as a got to, do your job, and our job our job in that match was just to make sure that the bloodline looked as strong as possible, and that's great because for the 4 years they were the feature of WWE. Really, everything circled around that storyline. So just to get a little bit of a rub from that was great.
Nice.
Absolutely. So when you look back, obviously, on you running WWE, what's some of your favourite matches?
Oh man, a lot of my favourite matches were like house shows, like on the main roster. Like we were married to the Usos for a while, like touring Europe and wrestling the Usos every night, wrestling the Street Profits. I suppose like televised matches, like the Donnybrook with Imperium. I enjoyed that one. Obviously, like there's the War Games match, and a couple of times where we challenged for the tag team titles, won in Saudi Arabia. it would have been a really good match. But we kind of rushed through our stuff because we thought we were going to go over time. But if we'd have taken our time a little bit more, I think it'd have been a really good outing for us. Trying to think. I remember my first kind of like real loop for the main roster was a Christmas loop, and someone had pulled out, and I ended up wrestling in Orlando. Actually, I ended up wrestling Drew McIntyre in a street fight in the main event, and I'd only been up 2 minutes, and I thought, well, someone's going to be very disappointed paying a ticket to come and see a wrestling event, and Ridge Holland's in the main event, and no one knows who he is. So, but that's a decent memory. Yeah.
What would you say life was like for you growing up in Yorkshire? What would you say life was like for you growing up in Yorkshire?
Oh, yeah, just typical working class background. My dad was a bouncer, then he became a policeman. Don't know how he got that job. My mum worked in a carpet factory. You know, we used to have fish and chip Fridays. We used to go around egging windows. You know, just the typical knock a door run, all that kind of stuff. Drinking when you're 15, drinking White Lightning from local shop. You know, just normal stuff that lads from Yorkshire do. You know, getting into mischief.
That's awesome. So in wrestling, obviously, people get criticism and stuff like that. How did you deal, obviously, with criticism? Do you know what I mean? Because I imagine you got a lot.
Yeah, I don't think I really dealt with it that well, to be honest. It came thick and fast, and I still get it to this day. It's hard because people say don't listen to social media, don't listen to criticism and stuff. And the WWE always says, "Oh, we don't listen to online voices," and they do, because that perception really hurt my. I believed how I was booked as well, and from how the fans reacted to an extent. So, I mean, dealing with like the death threats and stuff, that was another level. And it's just a confidence. You're trying to, with everything that happened with like the Big E thing and stuff, and I kind of got labelled as like that I couldn't wrestle, or that I was an unsafe wrestler, and I thought that was very, very unfair, especially when you're getting 3 minutes in a tag match on the main roster. You very rarely get to show what you truly can do, you know. So I don't really think anyone got a full idea of what I can do. I was just wrestling in fits and starts. But yeah, it was tough, and I still get it. Like I still get it now. You just got to try and block it out. And for every 10 good comments, there's always one negative. But I think it's human nature. We always focus on the negative, right? So it always kind of burns 100%. A hole in you when you see like a negative comment. So,
just a follow-up question on that. So, do you think wrestlers struggle with mental health more these days than probably what people realize?
I'm sorry, mate, you broke up again there. I do apologize.
Sorry. It's all right. Would you say wrestlers struggle more with mental health these days than people realize?
I would. I mean, I can't speak for everyone. All I can say is from my own perspective. Wrestling is something that we love, and it's something that we always want to be successful in. And coming from a sport where your metrics and your performance carries weight, in WWE, it doesn't matter if like the best wrestler isn't always the champion or the most booked or the most featured. So that can be very frustrating when you're working hard and it's just an audience of one, really. It's like that. You know, remember the old British adverts where it used to be the lottery? It could be you. You know, the big finger. It's like that. You just get picked, and then it's how you perceive. The company's in charge of everything. So, like, you know, if they present you as a star, the crowd is going to perceive you as such. If they don't present you as a star, the crowd aren't going to think you're a star. It's just what we do is totally out of our hands. It's like we've just got to work within the framework that we're given. And if they don't want you to get over, you ain't going to get over. And if they do want you to get over, then the machine gets behind you and you make a lot of money.
Yeah.
But as far as mental health, that pressure from that is it can be kind of all consuming. And I experienced that because you wanted to do so well. I almost kind of like smothered the life out of it because I loved it so much, and almost like smothered all the creativeness out of it because I didn't want to get fired. I wanted to hold on to it, but the anxiety of it just, it's like, oh, can I do this? Can I do that? Can I do this? What should I do? It's almost paralysis by analysis, you know. Whereas if I would have my time again, I would not give monkeys, you know what. I'd just go out there and be myself and do whatever I wanted, like honestly. And then I'd take whatever chewing out I'd got from the producers after. But that's what I'd do now. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough on the mental health for sure.
If I've got a follow-up question to that as well, is how are you obviously mentally after being released?
Well, that was a rough time. Obviously, I think it's well documented about like my financial situation at the time, and obviously the previous year when I went down to NXT, they gave me a 50% pay cut, and at that moment in time, I really didn't have any equity in my name, so I didn't really have the confidence to turn down the deal and try and venture elsewhere because I didn't think I had any name value because I hadn't been booked as anything really. But it was just, yeah, it was a dark time. You know, obviously we were struggling to pay my house and the mortgage and things like that. And just from an identity perspective, like you come over to the US, I brought my family over. We settled here now. We're green card holders. I've got 2 twin boys that are American citizens. They're here. And then all of a sudden, the rug gets pulled and I don't know what to do with myself. It's like I'm a wrestler. I can't work for 7 months. I can't earn a living. So what can I do? So yeah, there were some dark times. But, you know, things are on the up now. You just got to keep stepping forward.
Yeah, and you mentioned there things are on the up. You are coming back to your home country in the next month or so. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, that's right. I've just arranged to be a part of the National Wrestling League, which is it's kind of an amalgamation of some football rules, and it brings football and pro wrestling together. So we have a few teams up and down the country: Yorkshire, the Midlands, Scotland, London, Manchester, and we're all gonna tee off in like a tournament bracket style and see who comes up trumps. I think it's got legs, and I think it's going to be fun. I think it'll be great for the fans as well. So August 9th is when I'm over in Newcastle at the Virtue Arena, and then again in October in Glasgow. So I'm looking forward to that for sure. Yeah.
Awesome. You're over here for about a month, if I'm correct.
So say that again, mate. Mother when?
You're over here for about a month, if I'm correct.
That's correct. Yeah, I'm over from 17th of July till roughly the 12th of August. Yeah. So yeah, I'll be here for a while. It's going to be fun. I've got a fair few dates now. I think I've only got 3 dates left over that are free. So it's going to be fun. I'm going to feel like a real wrestler again.
Nice.
If I remember rightly, isn't like Rampage Brown a part same team as you?
Yeah, Rampage is part of Team Yorkshire, yeah. So it'd be nice to hook up with him together. Yeah, for sure. I think I wouldn't like anyone else's chances when me and Rampage just stood in front of him, to be honest. So
yeah, that is true. 2 meaty men, eh? So the UK scene is very hot at the moment. Who do you want to step in the ring with?
Oh man, anyone and everyone. To be honest, what I've been doing is like over the past 7 months, I kind of detached myself from wrestling, obviously because it left a bit of a sour taste in my mouth, as it were. But then you start to get the itch, and you realise that you've got more to give. So at the minute, not just in the UK but all over, I want to go to Japan, even just here in the States, everywhere. There's a young lad that's been kind of like making the rounds of progress, like a guy called Luke Jacobs. I wouldn't mind getting in there and squaring off with him. yeah, there's a couple of lads I know. I've got a few friends knocking about. I won't mind going over and tying up with Adam Maxted again at OTT. I think that'll be a good one. Again, Ollie Brown, Rampage. There's a few, but anyone, like I'm not going to shy away from any fight. That's for sure. I've never done that in my life, so I'm just looking to work and have a scrap with anyone, to be honest.
Nice.
Absolutely. So, is it hard now being a wrestling fan because you've obviously been involved in wrestling?
No, I think once you're a fan, you're a fan. So, as far as like watching the current product, like I don't really watch a lot of WWE, and I didn't really watch a lot of it when I was in the company, to be honest, because I was in it. I tend to watch, world of sport stuff, Japanese stuff, and just old WWE, like from back in the day, like some stuff from like SmackDown around like 2000, 2004 or 2006 was a great era for like work rate, old TNA, like the old X Division stuff. So I'm still a fan at heart. I still love wrestling, but I just look at it through a different lens.
Okay. So you mentioned the TNA. You did like a little short run in TNA. Is that something you'd want to like revisit?
Yeah, I mean, I've made my my opinion on that quite clear that I'd love to have another stab at TNA. I think that when I went there with Mike Santana, that's the funny thing. I went down to Evolve and I kind of thought that the writing was on the wall there, as far as WWE was, and then I went to TNA, and there was a little glimmer of hope there with the match I had with Mike, and then I was working moves. I thought, oh, this could actually save my career. But then obviously I got hurt. But the locker room's great. The boys, I had such a positive experience there, and I think it's something. Obviously, with them on AMC now, I think I could add value, definitely. And I'd like to go there and if the opportunity arises, go there and knock some heads together.
Nice.
Absolutely. So I want to talk a little bit about the fan base and stuff like that. What's something wrestling fans will never understand when it comes to wrestling?
The wrestling, like they don't know what's good or bad. Like nowadays, lads think that just because someone can do a cool move, they're a good wrestler. That's far from the case. Anyone could jump off the top. Well, not anyone, but it's just one thing. And I think that what we do has got lost. It's always been about emotional connection and drawing that emotional connection from the crowd. Whereas now I think it's part of the wrestler's fault. We've gone for the easy route. We go for the easy, the cheap reaction, which is body hitting canvas or a dive or something cheap. Not cheap, but something easy, like a shortcut. Whereas I think they work a little bit harder to get the crowd emotionally involved. But yeah, I think the fans are just a little bit disillusioned as to what what wrestling is and what wrestling should be.
Yeah. So obviously Big E's not fought in a few years because of the incident. But do you think with people like Paige, Bryan Danielson, Adam Copeland, people come back, do you think Big E will ever step back in the ring again?
I think because of the nature of his injury, with it being his C1, I think he fractured his C1 and his C6. Now, your C1's right at your base of your skull, and that's a really tricky. It doesn't get a lot of blood flow, so I think the issue was it wasn't the joint or the fracture wasn't calcifying or ossifying. It was just cartilage. So therefore, that puts him at a real risk of something bad happening again. Now, if that happens still and he feels comfortable coming back, then that's on him. But I think he's at a point in his life now where he's really happy without his body getting banged up, and he's doing good stuff. He seems happy, and I wish him all the best. And if he happens to come back and he's healthy enough to come back, and that's what he wants to do, and that's what's going to make him happy, then I'll be happy for him.
Absolutely. So, how did you juggle, obviously, family life and wrestling life? Because I imagine that wasn't easy.
Sorry, mate, you broke up again there.
Yeah, sorry. So, how did you obviously juggle like wrestling life and like family life?
So, I mean, it's hard. I mean, you think, but when I first got called up, we were on the road Thursday to Sunday, sometimes Monday. If they wanted you to go to Raw to do a dark match, then obviously the overseas tours, you were away for what, I don't know, probably 10 days. And when you've got, a wife at home and three children, it can be quite, it's quite challenging. And then obviously you're missing people from home. I'm from the UK, and I'm missing birthdays, weddings, things like that. And then obviously, the mental toll that the business takes on you. You try not to bring the mental toll that wrestling takes on your home. Sometimes it happens. So there's plenty of ways that it can affect your home life. You've just got to try and leave it at the door.
Yeah, very true. So, I mean, your journey since like September last year, like till where you are now, you've gone through you've had neck surgery, then you've been the all clear back in April. Like, you've got a UK tour coming up. What's the rest of 2026 looking like for you?
So at the minute, like once I get back from the UK, I've got open dates. I've got something else in October, but I'm just looking to work as much as I can. So I'll continue to put myself out there on social media. Hopefully, create a little bit of a buzz with the bookings that I've got. And it's just about reinventing myself now. I'm literally starting from scratch. That's how I look at it. I'm not looking to course by on past things that I've done. This is almost me starting again. So the fire's been lit, and I want to go out there and prove myself right, and prove everyone else wrong that doubted me. And that's the kind of the mindset that I'm of now. So I'd love to wrestle in like Japan and just worldwide.
Yeah.
I was going to say then, as there's any countries you'd like to visit, but you kind of like touched on it there a little bit.
Yeah, I'd love to work in Japan. I spoke to not no other company, but obviously like Inamura, who was just their recent champion. He lost to Shane Haste recently. I spoke to him. So I've got a couple of friends here and there, and you never know. Someone puts a word in, something might happen, and one appearance could turn into 10. You never know. It's just obviously taking opportunities when you can, and maybe calling in a favour or two.
Absolutely. So we've not spoke about this, but how did the name come about, Ridge Holland?
Say that again.
I said, how did the name come about, Ridge Holland?
So originally I'd pitched a few names. I wanted it to stay along the lines of a British, like Archie, Charlie, or Tommy. I wanted it to be really British, and the character was a kind of like Bill Sykes from Oliver, like a smidge of like a Guy Ritchie influence, kind of like a Yorkshire version of Peaky Blinders. And I wanted to bring it in. So my idea was like either Archie, Charlie, or Tommy, and the last name would have been Malice. Obviously, I wanted to be a villain, and I wanted something that I could play off words like Malice by name, Malice by nature. But WWE thought that would have been, I don't know, like Avengers or Marvel or like superhero-y. So they said, come up with 20 names. So I happened to write Ridge as the last name of.
Hello?
Yeah. Yeah. So we're talking obviously about the name Ridge Holland. How did it come about?
There you go, Liam.
We're talking. Tell us a little bit about the name Ridge Holland. How did it come about?
Can't hear you. They asked me to come up with 20 names. Ridge was the the last name of another, and Holland was the first name of another. And they came to me and I actually turned it down initially because I thought it would pants. And then they came later and said, "Look, we really like this." So I went, "Oh, I guess that's me then." So Rich Holland was born.
Okay.
Very unique name. So, you've probably been asked this before, but who's your Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling? Who's your Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling? So, who's your Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling?
Sorry, say that again.
Who's your Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling?
Guys,
Fourth time lucky. What is who's your Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling?
oh man, I mean, so the person that always made me want to be a professional wrestler was Stone Cold. He was my favourite growing up. But after I started watching the World of Sport reruns with my nan, and then when I graduated to like watching American stuff, so Stone Cold, he's there. He's probably my number one. Then for me, I've got to have two British lads in there, so I'm going to have to go like Finlay Dynamite Kid.
Oh, yes.
And then fourth, man, it's a toss-up between... Oh, I've got three. It's a toss-up between three. I've got Bret Hart, Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar. Damn. Let's go Kurt Angle.
Okay.
Yeah, Kurt Angle, I think. Sorry, like really, really close second and third with Bret and Brock. But Kurt, I think, yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Absolutely. So, if you could give like somebody up and coming in wrestling a piece of advice based on what you've obviously been through, what advice would you give them?
Don't wrestle for anybody else but yourself. Like, one, don't take it too seriously. Two, always make sure that you're having fun, and be good. Be as good as you can be at wrestling, and do it for you. Don't do it to impress anybody else, like a coach or someone like that, because
Can't hear him now. I'm lost where we want to.
All right, that's good. So, Liam asked you about any advice you would give to anyone who's upcoming.
yeah. So I mean, the main thing is this is supposed to be fun, right? So learn that as much as you can, get really good at the fundamentals, and just be as good as you can be at this for you. And that's going to carry you through whatever company you work for. Don't worry about being as good for a certain coach or doing this for any other people, any other external validation, other than being the best that you can be. And that's going to carry you far in this business.
Awesome. So, you've got a lot coming up. Is there anything you haven't announced yet that you would like to?
No, I think everyone on the sort of my social media and everything knows that everything's out there. I am an online coach as well. So if you want to get in shape and want to look like you deserve to be under the WrestleMania spotlights, you can hit us up. I work for a company called Silverback. So there's all the details on my social media there. But if anyone wants to follow me, it's at Ridge WWE, because Meta won't let me change my handle yet because they're very kind. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting rocking and rolling back on the independent scene.
Awesome. Liam?
Yeah. Is there anything else, mate, you obviously like to plug before we obviously wind this down?
No, mate, I think I need to get myself some better connection. That's about it.
Awesome. But Luke, thank you for coming on. I've enjoyed your time. It's been amazing. Do you know what? We hope to do it again soon.
Yeah, for sure, guys. I'd love to. And yeah, apologies for the connection issues there. Yeah, but it's been fun. Thank you.
No worries, man. Take it easy. Have a good day.